Imagine this scene, straight out of a Hollywood thriller. It's April 2026. A massive glowing red clock floats above planet Earth, visible from space. Another $1 billion gets added to the world's debt pile. The numbers are climbing so fast, you can almost hear the metal groaning under the weight. World leaders stand on their balconies, waving and smiling for the cameras. Everything is under control, they say in calm voices. But in the shadows, economists are sweating. One tiny spark, a surprise interest rate hike, a new war, or even a single country whispering, "We can't pay this anymore." And the whole thing detonates. Your salary, your savings, your grocery bill, your children's future, all of it shakes like an earthquake. This isn't science fiction. This is the real world right now. Welcome to Crayon Econ. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the global debt time bomb. The $100 trillion monster that's ticking louder than ever in 2026. I'm going to explain every single piece of this like you're 5 years old. Simple stories, no complicated charts, just pure drama and truth. You'll see exactly how we got here, why it's about to explode, and what it means for your life. If you want to protect your money and understand the world better than 99% of people, stay until the end. This some minutes ride might just be the most eye-opening video you watch all year. Let's light the fuse. Let's start at the very beginning with the biggest lie economics has ever sold us. Governments and central banks looked us in the eye and said, "Don't worry. Borrow as much as you want today. The future will be richer, and it will pay everything back." It sounded so logical. Like a kid asking his parents for money to buy a bicycle, promising he'll deliver newspapers later to repay it. Except the entire planet took that deal at the exact same time. Flashback to 2008. The global financial system was collapsing. Banks were dying. Leaders panicked and printed trillions to save them. Debt exploded overnight. Then 2020 hit. COVID, lockdowns everywhere. Governments said, "We have to help people," and borrowed even more, this time for stimulus checks, vaccines, and keeping businesses alive. Wars in Europe and the Middle East, huge green energy projects, and now the AI race. Everything was paid for with borrowed money. And here's what made it feel like magic. Interest rates were almost zero for years. Borrowing felt completely free. Like eating unlimited ice cream that had 0 calories and 0 consequences. Politicians loved it because voters got free stuff without higher taxes. Companies loved it because they could build factories and data centers on cheap loans. Families loved it because houses and cars felt affordable. But in 2026, the ice cream machine has broken. Interest rates are high again. The free lunch is officially over, yet almost no one stopped borrowing. The debt kept growing. That's the lie we all believed. Debt isn't magic, it's a promise. And that promise is now bigger than the entire world's annual income. The bill is due, and the world is starting to panic. Now let's travel back in time, like a cinematic flashback sequence. Picture the year 2000. Global government debt was only about $20 trillion, small enough to fit on one big table if you stacked the cash. Then, the 2008 crash happened. Banks nearly died. Governments rushed in with giant rescue packages. Trillions poured out like water from a broken dam. Debt jumped higher. In the 2010s, China started building entire empty cities using borrowed money, trying to keep its growth machine running. Europe borrowed massively to save Greece and other weak countries. America kept printing money after every small crisis. Then came the pandemic in 2020. Trillions more. Helicopter money dropped from the sky. By 2025, governments alone added another 10 trillion in just 1 year. Why? Because spending is popular. Raising taxes is not. Politicians choose the easy path. Borrow more, promise more, kick the can down the road. Corporations joined the party too, borrowing for AI supercomputers and robot factories. Families borrowed for bigger homes and fancier cars. The total global debt number, it reached almost $350 trillion by the end of 2025. That's more money than the entire planet earns in 4 full years. Now, in April 2026, the number is still climbing like a rocket with no brakes. It's as if every person, every company, and every government on Earth maxed out every single credit card at the exact same moment. And suddenly, the minimum payment on all those cards just got enormous. The monster we built is now bigger than anyone ever imagined. Time to hit you with the numbers. But I'll make them so simple, you'll never forget them. Global government debt alone has now crossed $111 trillion. That's the 100 trillion a plus time bomb I promised in the title. The United States alone owes almost $39 trillion. That single number is bigger than the entire economy of the European Union. Japan sits at over 10 trillion. China is around 15 trillion and still borrowing fast. Now here's the part that should make your stomach drop. Interest payments. The US government now spends more money every year just paying interest on its debt than it spends on its entire military. That's over $900 billion a year, just the interest. Imagine your family makes $100,000 a year, but has to hand over $25,000 of it every year just to pay the credit card company. Nothing for food, nothing for school, nothing left. You'd be trapped. That's exactly where many countries are right now. And the twist that makes 2026 so dangerous, over $20 trillion of rich country debt and another $9 trillion from emerging markets has to be refinanced this year. That means they have to borrow new money to pay back the old loans. If investors suddenly get scared and demand higher interest rates, the cost explodes even more. Every single day, the bomb gets heavier. Every single day, the fuse burns shorter. Let's zoom in like a dramatic world map in a spy movie. Red warning lights flashing over certain countries. Which ones are closest to the explosion? America. Debt is now over 120% of its GDP. Politicians argue on TV, while the interest bill grows bigger every month. Japan. Debt is an insane 250% of GDP. The highest in the developed world. They have been living with this problem for 30 years, printing money to survive. Italy, France, and the UK are all above 100% and still climbing. Now look at the emerging markets, the poorer countries. Some of them already spend 20 to 30% of every tax dollar they collect just on interest payments. One small shock, higher food prices, a bad harvest, or another war, and they could completely default. Remember what happened in Sri Lanka in 2022? People were so angry about the debt crisis they burned cars and stormed the president's house. Scenes like that could play out in multiple countries in 2026. Even the growth stars like India and China are borrowing heavily to keep their economies racing forward. The scary truth? The whole world is tied together with invisible ropes of debt. If one big country sneezes, the rest of us catch a terrible cold, or worse. But the debt alone isn't the full story. This is a perfect storm, everything bad happening at once. Interest rates are high. Inflation is still sticky and painful. Geopolitics is on fire. Wars, trade wars, energy shocks everywhere. Governments want to spend even more money on AI research, green energy projects, defense, and taking care of aging populations. but their wallets are empty. So what do? They borrow even more, which pushes interest rates higher, which makes the old debt even more expensive. It's a vicious circle economists call a debt trap. I call it a time bomb, with the fuse already burning in the middle. And 2026 is the year the fuse might reach the end. If investors around the world suddenly stop buying government bonds because they're scared, panic selling begins. Stock markets crash, pensions lose value. Your grocery prices shoot up even higher. Your bank might raise rates on your loans overnight. This is why the story feels like a thriller movie. You and I are still living our normal lives, drinking coffee, going to work, scrolling phones. But the debt monster is already inside the house, breathing down our necks. The lights are flickering. The clock is ticking louder. Now let's get back to the bomb before it explodes. So what happens next? This story has 3 possible endings, like a movie with 3 different finales. Best case scenario: governments around the world finally get serious. They cut unnecessary spending, make smart tax changes, and slowly grow their way out of the debt. It will hurt a little, but the bomb gets diffused safely. Middle case scenario: they choose the easy way out, print more money, and let inflation quietly rise. Your money buys less and less every year. It feels like a hidden tax on your savings. Worst case scenario: one major country defaults or refuses to pay. Panic spreads like wildfire. Stock markets crash hard. A deep recession hits. Jobs disappear. Homes get lost. It becomes the 2008 crisis, but on steroids. None of these endings feel warm and fuzzy. But here's the honest truth that matters to you right now. This debt bomb is already touching your daily life. Taxes are creeping higher in many countries. Prices for everything keep rising. Government help in the future will probably get smaller. Your kids and grandkids will inherit this mountain of debt. That's why knowing the truth today gives you power. You can make smarter choices with your money, your investments, and even your vote. Here's the simplest lesson of all, explained exactly like you're 5. Debt is like fire. A small, controlled fire keeps you warm on a cold night and lets you cook delicious food. But if you pour gasoline on that fire and let it grow too big, it burns down the entire house, and everyone inside gets hurt. For the last 15 years, the whole world has been pouring gasoline on the fire. Now, the house is full of smoke, and the flames are licking the ceiling. We still have a small window of time to put the fire out, but only if normal people like you and me start demanding real change from our leaders. Not more empty promises, real spending cuts, real responsibility. The good news? After watching this video, you now understand the situation better than most politicians who are supposed to fix it. Knowledge really is power. So here's your homework. Drop a comment below right now. Which country's debt situation worries you the most and why? Tell me honestly. Do you think we'll get a soft landing or a big crash in 2026? If this video opened your eyes even a little, smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Thank you so much for watching Crayon Econ. Stay curious, stay informed, and remember, the best defense against any economic bomb is knowledge. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.